Welcome back to AP World History. This is Chapter 28, where we've been talking about World War One. In 1919, there is a peace conference in Paris to determine what kind of terms they will give the Germans. Now, the Germans are not invited to make any kind of arrangement. They're going to be presented with a treaty, and they're going to have to sign it. One of the reasons that probably World War II goes on is because of the harsh treatment that the Germans receive at this peace conference, and they will have to sign the Treaty of Versailles. But they're not given any right to have any part of drafting the treaty. They're going to lose their empire, as well as the Austria-Hungary is going to be dismantled, as well as the Ottoman Empire. What will be left of the Ottoman Empire will be what we look at today as modern-day Turkey. Uh, this shows some of the nations that were formed as a result of this peace conference. Yugoslavia, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Austria, Poland, so forth. And certainly Turkey is going to lose some of its territory. Germany is going to lose some of its territory that they had gained earlier in the 19th century. These are, again, some of the new nations. You can see that Syria, Iraq, Palestine, Transjordan are formed in 1923 with the help of the League of the Nations. Treaty of Versailles certainly is the most important treaty that was signed. It blames everything on Germany. They're limited to 100,000 soldiers. Their navy is confiscated. They lose their territories, and they'll have to pay $32 billion to the Triple Entente. So France and Great Britain are going to be the recipients. We know that the Russians got out in 1917, so they're not part of this peace treaty. This shows the territorial loss in 1919 to 1921. That certainly the German people resented. The League of Nations was formed. This was one of the brainchilds of Woodrow Wilson when he goes to the peace conference. Surprisingly enough, he's part of the negotiation of the treaty, but American Senate will not ratify the treaty. They will not become part of the League of Nations or the World Court. Republican senators believe that if they sign this treaty, it will surrender some of their sovereignty, and they're not going to do it. The League of Nations helped to settle some national disputes. It was sort of a precursor to the United Nations, but as a organizing, governing body, it was pretty inept. Germany and Russia were not allowed to participate in this League of Nations, and by 1935, it will dissolve. Its headquarters is going to be in Geneva, Switzerland. The dark blue representing some of the members of the League of Nations, and you can see that the Soviet Union, United States is absent, and also Germany. This here shows Geneva, Switzerland, where the League of Nations building of the League of Nations is built, and that's where the different countries of the world meet. After World War One, there is going to be a nationalist movement in various colonies wanting their independence from their uh, mother countries. And for the most part, this doesn't happen. Uh, there were certainly people from these different colonies had been educated in the West. They see how they live, and they want that for their own country. Uh, as a result, they will go back. So these people that are nationals from India and other places go back and uh, tell people that there's a better way and that they should be an independent country. Um, the war gave support to anti-colonial movements in European colonies, but in the end, nothing much changes. The National Congress Party is formed in India. and its goal is independence, and they want to govern their own affairs. But it won't be until World War II, the end of that, before they become an independent country. Uh, the National Congress Party gave Indians a sense of identity. Of course, one of the problems in India is the conflict between the Hindus and the Muslims. Um, Indians are concerned that a waste for the British Army to be there, and also administrators. So they're not too happy with the British being there, but they can do nothing to throw them out. Of course, India contributed significantly to World War One in terms of troops and supplies, but isn't going to realize too much from that. Um, The Rowlatt Act restricted Indian civil rights, so they're not treated like full citizens of the British Crown. Gandhi will emerge as an Indian leader in lead the fight for a national unity, throw the British out. He will preach nonviolence, but aggressive protest against colonization. Um, Gandhi will build up a strong following both by Hindus and Muslims, and try to get the British out. He was educated in the West, and he embraces Hinduism, and he will lead the nationalists to try to throw off the British rule. Shows a picture of his wife and Gandhi, 1915. In fact, during World War II, he is going to encourage the British Indian subjects not to fight in the war. Britain will occupy Egypt in 1882. Of course, we looked at that in the last chapter, or two chapters before, and the British have been there for a while. Mainly because of the Suez Canal. They're resented by the Muslims that are there because of their arrogance and sense of superiority. There was an incident which was called the Dinshewa incident, in which some officers went out to kill some pigeons. They were tame pigeons. Somebody gets shot. A mob ensues. One of the British soldiers dies from heat stroke because he's racing back to try to get help. This was all brought on by the British soldiers going out and just shooting the pigeons for sport, not even for food. The pigeons actually were feeding the poor villagers there in Egypt. Creates an incident where there's a hatred between the Egyptians and the British. They're just never going to come together. After World War One, the Ottoman Empire will disappear, but only Turkey will remain. The French and the British forces will occupy a lot of the Middle East, and eventually, after World War II, these areas will push for independence. Syria, Iraq, Lebanon were carved out and made into nations, sometimes ignoring really the cultural part of the country, putting people together who didn't like each other. There is a Jewish movement, occupation in Palestine, a Jewish homeland, which is going to be resented by the Arabs in that area, the Muslims, the Balfour Declaration. Eventually, the British will get out of this area after World War II. Here shows the Middle East in 1914. You can see the Ottoman controlling what now is parts of Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Syria, Palestine, which is now Israel. The red represents the British control, Russian control in yellow. The League of Nations mandates in the Middle East, you can see that a lot of these places are made protectorates under the control of European powers. This is the British mandate at Palestine in 1922. Palestine being where Jerusalem was located, the orangey color. These were, again, some of the protectorates. During the war, the British defended the Suez Canal, particularly against the Ottoman Empire. By 1936, the British will withdraw from Egypt and the Suez Canal. Even though Egypt had independence, the Egyptian politicians were concerned more with their own pockets than helping the poor, and they're going to continue to be ruled ineptly. And we'll stop right there.